So guys, many people have been bashing out at the Igbos, asking why are they not taking advantage of the revelation that was made by IBB during his book launch, saying that the coup that happened in 1966 wasn't an Igbo coup. People are thinking that it is a very good opportunity given to the Igbos to present their demand to the federal government, that everybody will reason with the Igbos if they can take advantage of this. But guess what? Many Igbo leaders have chosen to go silent. Many of them are quiet, especially our political leaders from the southeast. They've all gone silent, not until recent. Ojo Okalu came out to say something about that coup, and one might wonder, why has he been silent all this while? Also, Senator Victor Ume equally came out to say that Gowon has to write his book, not just IBB. Gowon should write. We want to know what happened before, during, and after the Biafran War, that the Igbos deserve to know. Also, Abaribe equally made a statement like that Gowon has to write his own book. Now, Kenneth Okonkwo is here to air his view. I want you to take your time and watch this video, because honestly, this topic is very important to the Igbos, because you may not even know the number of Igbos that have been killed as a result of that coup. That today we are learning that it was not an Igbo coup, but the hatred generated from that coup, especially from the north, has led to the demise of so many Igbos. I mean, so many Igbos, even until the last regime of Buhari, I mean the last government that we had before this current government. We saw how the military will take Tokado, that is meant to fight Boko Haram, to the southeast, to go and begin to say they are looking for IPOB members and all that. And at the end of the day, so many civilians, innocent civilians, were caught up. We were told that unidentified bodies were heaped in the Federal Medical Center in Owerri. They were unidentified. People didn't even know they've lost their beloved ones, because many people were caught up in that war just during Buhari's government. Anyway, guys, let's not even go deep into how many Igbos have been killed, since after that coup until today, because of that same hatred. And Igbo leaders have chosen to go silent. Anyway, for those of them that have decided to speak, I want you to take your time and watch this video on what Kenneth Okonkwo has got to say, and let me know your honest thoughts in the comment section below. Take a look.
Well, let me congratulate IBB for putting pen to paper to tell Nigerians about his life history and the consequential things that happened along the line of his eventful life. I mean, he has had a very eventful life, and it was a good thing he put it to paper so that the next generation would learn from what he did or what he did not do. About 1966 Coup, let me say that IBB was an eyewitness. And in law, the evidence of an eyewitness is admissible without more, because that's direct evidence from somebody who saw it, who heard it, who perceived it. So it was good that he put pen to paper on that particular episode. The central point of his submission is the total exoneration of the Igbo people as being the architects of that coup. And indeed, it couldn't ever have been the Igbo people. First and foremost, the Igbo people have their traditional leaders, political leaders, social-cultural leaders, religious leaders. Before you hang something on a people, you must prove that their leadership cadre was involved in the conspiracy, in the planning and execution of a change of government by force, before you say it is done or was done by a people. In all the historical postulations about 1966 Coup, There was no time. They linked it to our leadership. All the people that participated in it were all military men, employed, trained by Nigeria as military men. So no matter their tribe, no matter their ethnicity, no matter their religion, this was purely a military coup, military action conducted by military men. If 1966 coup was a military coup, then 1983 coup, 1966 revenge coup, 1985 coup, they are all military coups. Why is it that we do not talk about the ethnicity or religion of all the people that carried out all these subsequent coups? Why do you say they are military coups? Because indeed they are military coups. So please, it is wrong to ascribe a military coup to a people, because the people are not part of the Nigerian army. So what happened in 1966 coup, first and foremost, was a military coup. Let's go into the nitty-gritty of the coup. What was the reason for the coup? The coup plotters adduced that it was to target the political class that has become corrupt and receives 10% from any contracts they issue out. 2, the intractable violence that followed the 1964-1965 election that was done in the Western region. You know, there was an acrimonious relationship between Akintola and Awolowo. And there was an allegation that the government, central government under Tafawa Balewa, rigged election in favor of Akintola, and it led to great violence in this Western region that became intractable. And then that was one of the reasons that the coup plotters struck. What was the aim of the coup? The aim of the coup was to bring Awolowo to become president. Don't take my words for it. Take the words of the Owa of Idoani, Major General Olufemi Olutayo, retired. He was a major in 1964 when he met Major Kaduna Nzogu in India. This was his words. He said he asked Nzogu, who do you want to pick to lead the nation if you succeed in the coup? He said they want to pick a man who was more knowledgeable than they were, who had what it took to make Nigeria great. And that man was Awolowo. It is not surprising, because by independence, Major Kaduna Nzogu was from Western region. That was where he was from. And by 1966, he was from Midwestern region. And everybody know that it is in the Eastern region that you have predominant Igbos. So Major Kaduna Nzogu was born in Kaduna, raised in Kaduna, and IBB said he was more Hausa than any other tribe. I give you an example. In Britain, there was a man whose name was Nigerian. He went into the street in a terrorist attack and used knife and hacked a law officer down. And Britain wanted initially to say, no, he's a Nigerian. Nigeria says, sorry. He was born in Britain. He has never even been to Nigeria. He was groomed, raised in Britain. So whatever about terrorism that concerns this particular person, he was not a Nigerian. Yes, we accept he has a Nigerian name, but he is British because he was born and raised there. Kaduna is an Hausa name. Major Kaduna Nzogu was born in the north, grew up in the north. Even when he was carrying out the coup, his personal physician, who was his doctor, was an Hausa man. He wouldn't trust you if you were not an Hausa man, because that is him for you. Babangida said he was as Hausa as any, spoke fluent Hausa. So by birth, a northerner. By nurture, a northerner. By political affiliation, a westerner. And Babangida rightly pointed out that he was only Igbo in name. His ancestry, not even all his names. The first name, Hausa. The ancestral name, Nzogo, was what was Igbo. Look at the people whose reason was not because of anything happening in Igbo land. The people who struck to make Awolowo a non-Igbo president. How does it have anything to do with Ndi Igbo? People have always said that part of the reason people suspected it was Igbo was because it did not happen in the eastern region. This is where they got it wrong. The question is, why did it not happen in the eastern region? One, eastern region was not harboring the capital of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So if you're a coup plotter, the first place that you want to visit is the capital of the country. Because you don't have it, you're wasting your time. Who is that foolish coup plotter who will be risking his life in treasonable felony, chasing rats when the house is burning? So the center point of any coup is the capital of the country, which was located in Lagos. Secondly, there was no Igbo person in the political field that was occupying any command post that could have threatened the survival of the coup. Dr. Nnamdi was a ceremonial president, commanding nothing. Even if they had gotten Nnamdi, it wouldn't have been in the East, because as the president, he would have still been living in the West, as in the capital of the nation. Now, why again did it not happen in the Southeast? Because the main core of the elite military corps of the Nigerian army from Southeast origin, they were against the coup. Indeed, they were the ones that crushed the coup. Have you ever heard the name of any military officer from the north or west that fought to crush the coup? Babangida named them Major John Obienu, Colonel Chukwuemeka Odumegwu. This is me now saying it, because he was commanding a brigade or a battalion or thereabout in Kanu State. And then Major General, or as he then was, Brigadier General Johnson Thomas Omonakwe Aguyuronse, who was the highest military officer. These people crushed and quelled the coup. The Southeastern Military Corps did not support the coup. And I give you another point to tell you that Nzogu himself is not even versatile with the Southeast, with the Eastern region when the war started, because he didn't know his terrain very well. Almost the same week the war started, a marksman killed him in the Biafran side, because he was fighting in a terrain not known to him. Major Ifeanyi Ifajuna, Major Emmanuel Ifajuna, another member of the coup, when the war started, wanted even to overthrow Ojukwu himself. He was executed in Biafra, telling you that those main people who are from Igbo origin, who participated in the coup, do not even have the agreement of the main elite military officer corps of the Southeast. They don't even trust them, because the aim of Ndi Igbo then was one Nigeria. That was why they were living in all parts of Nigeria. So they were embarrassed. Are the Igbo officers the only people in that queue? No. You had Major Adewole Ademoyega, Captain Ganiyu Adeleke, Lieutenant Fola Oyewole, and Lieutenant Olamifuno or something like that, by Babangida's account. Obasanjo also named more accounts, including Hausa officers. So let me tell you, what Babangida said was not even original. from him. During the Oputa panel, the director of military intelligence then, one General Ibrahim Sabo, came out openly and said the only coup in Nigeria that had the national interest in the operation of the plotters was the 1966 coup conducted by Major Nzog. Ibrahim Sabo. That name does not sound Igbo to you. A Northerner, a Muslim Northerner. Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, the former CSO of Abacha, he came on Oputa panel and made the same statement that the only coup that was motivated by national interest is Major Kaduna Nzogu coup. Major Mustafa is not an Igbo man. There was one governor, Madaki. He was a governor. During military regime, as a matter of fact, during Babangida's regime, he came out openly and declared that the only coup in Nigeria that was conducted that had national interest was Major Nzogu's coup. Babangida told him to withdraw his statement at the risk of losing his commission, at the risk of losing being a governor. He said he stands by it. The reason Babangida was telling him to withdraw it is that Babangida himself came through coup. So if this officer is saying that the only one that had national interest, that means he's invariably referring that even his own had no national interest. Do you know what? That valiant officer maintained his stand and he was removed from the army. I still remember because he was a lawyer then. He went and put on his lawyer's gown and headed to the court and was willing to throw away the military rather than not saying the truth. So all these people, they were all eyewitnesses. They were all ear witnesses to what happened in 1966 coup. And they made it clear that it was not an Igbo coup. Now, look at the people that were killed. It was very, as Babangida described it, it was heinous. And that's why I don't like military incursion. Because of the possibility of shedding blood, including collateral damage. It was wrong. It was condemnable that these politicians, especially the ones that did not resist arrest, were killed. No, it was wrong. But do you know, the killing was all over Nigeria. Yes, it was a very terrible, bad thing to kill Ahmadu Bello. Especially when he did not resist. Very terrible. Can't justify it. Tafawa Balewa was killed. You have some Yoruba officers that were killed. Those people were killed, they were killed because they were in line and could frustrate the coup. They were in line because they were perceived to be a threat to the revolution. Not because of where they come from. Not because of their ethnicity or religion. And this is my point to prove it. Lieutenant Colonel Ato Chinyelo Unebe was killed. They call him one of the most disciplined officers in Nigerian army. An Igbo man. The quartermaster general of Nigeria then. He was in charge of the ammunition, the weapons, the equipment, the logistics. And the coup plotters knew that he was a threat to the revolution. And they went to him. Major Chris Anuforo, an Igbo officer, went to him and killed him in front of the pregnant wife. And you're telling me, if it's an Igbo coup, then an Igbo man will pick up a gun and go to shoot this man in front of his pregnant wife. What happened to the north? Happened to the west? Happened to the east? It is just because those storytellers with intention to malign Ndi Igbo and misconstrue facts, they now elevated everything, hid a lot of facts to make it appear as if it had anything to do with Ndi Igbo. Ndi Igbo, they were the most progressive then, most prosperous. They had every In every sector of Nigeria, they were almost in charge. So why would they want to go and conduct a coup? The Igbo suffered from the 1966 coup. Any Igbo man that was in line with anything that could frustrate the revolution, because that's what they called it, they killed him if they could. So it was a misnomer from the one to call it an Igbo coup, because the reason for the coup was not Igbo. The aim of the coup was not Igbo. The people that perpetrated the coup were military officers from all ethnic groups and from all tribes. And the people that were killed were all the people they could get to that are in line with being threats to the revolution, irrespective of their ethnicity, religion, creed, or place of origin. So Babangida did the right thing for exonerating Ndi Igbo. And henceforth, because I have been saying it in my own interview all this while, that Ndi Igbo has nothing to do with the coup. If an Igbo man is a military man, he becomes a military man. He becomes an officer of the Nigerian military, not an Igbo man. Whatever he's doing it in the name of being an officer of the army. Just like in 1983, the military took over. Nobody said it was an Hausa coup. Even when a Fulani was made the head of state, nobody said it was a Fulani coup. They said the military has taken over. Buhari came into power. 1985, Babangida came into power. Northerner from Nupe. Nobody said it was a Nupe coup. Then it continued. So please, whatever happens by the military should be described for what it is. Military coup. For me, it's not an Hausa coup. It's not a Yoruba coup. It's not an Igbo coup. It is a military coup. And that is how it should be described. Henceforth, it will be defamatory. Henceforth, for anybody to attribute that coup again to Ndi Igbo. And for the sake of the unity of this country, especially for us that believe that Nigeria is a better place for all of us, we must learn to allow old hostilities to depart with old age and allow new breath of fresh air to permeate the beautiful environment of Nigeria. There are no Igbos, there are no Hausas, there are no Yorubas. All of us form the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So there are Igbos, there are Yorubas, there are Hausas, there are Fulanis, there are IBBs, there are all of us form the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So whatever is your tribe, you're not in competition with Nigeria. You are part of Nigeria. So let us do things that will make us leave better legacy for our children and live in a better place. 1966, I repeat, was a military coup. It could never have been an Igbo coup.
What's your opinion about the June 12th annulment?
Well, I was an eyewitness in June 12. I saw it there. And so when I'm talking now, I'm talking as an eyewitness. 1966, somebody can say, and that was why I quoted all the people that said the things they said in 1966. But in June 12, I was an eyewitness. So whatever I say now, I stand by it. First of all, June 12 would have been one of the best things that would have happened to Nigeria, because it was a day Nigerians went out to vote for a president in the freest, fairest election, where a man who contested the election, MKO Abiola, won fair and square. that suddenly what would have been the best suddenly turned to become the worst, because for no reason known to common sense, for no reason known to any reasonable person, the election was annulled by Babangida and Babangida alone, and unleashed the unrest on the country and Nigerian people. Now, let's talk about the transition program of Babangida. Immediately, Babangida overthrew Buhari on August 27, 1985. He promised from that same day that he was going to hand over power to a democratically elected government by 1990. Along the line, he set up a political bureau that advised him on what to do. And within the time, summarily, let me just move summarily. When it was getting to 1990, Babangida decided that he was going to experiment with diarchy. In other words, a system of government where the civilians will be elected and the military will also be in power. And he used that opportunity to extend his transition from 1990 to 1992. Babangida did not blame anybody that the person was responsible for the extension, because being a military head of state, his word was law. He ruled by decrees. And you know what? Babangida said, I dominate my environment with power, with the power of firearms. So he was in charge and he was in power.
So guys, you have seen it for yourself. Honestly, Igbo leaders have failed Igbos. They failed. They failed. There's no pretense. You can't cover it. They failed, you know. All of them, all the Igbo leaders. Recently, we saw Enugu leaders going to the north that they want to talk, they want to make peace after the coup revelation that was made. They went to the north to ask for peace. These are people that are supposed to be telling Tinubu to come. Let's discuss. Let's have a round table talk. Honestly, the Southeast leaders are a disgrace to Ndi Igbo. The Southeast leaders, they are a disgrace to Ndi Igbo. Where is the boldness? Why are you leaders? Why did you take up that position when you know you cannot speak for the people? You are supposed to be the one mediating. Go learn from the northerners. Even though Boko Haram has spied so many people, they are granting them pardon. They are holding your own people. Many IPOB loyalists are in prisons across Nigeria. Some of them, they cannot even be traced anymore. If they catch you, they will say because IPOB has been proscribed, you become a terrorist. They take you to prison, you will not be released. Igbo leaders are sitting down, they are not doing anything. Fulani headsmen are coming, buying people, nobody is talking. How long are we going to continue in this? So guys, I don't know what you make of what is happening in Igbo land. It's so sad that we have this weak set of leaders, very weak people that cannot stand up every time they want to lick the nyash of other politicians. Why is people like Hope Uzodinma, Soludo them, even Alex Oti? Where is the Enugu governor? Where is the governor of Ebonyi State? Where are they? Why can't they sit up and speak for their people? Why can't they see that Igbo boys are going? Igbo boys are going. Do you know how many Igbos that have been buried since Buhari came in the 8 years of Buhari, and now these 2 years of Tinubu? Do you know how many Igbo youths that have been buried? Even if these people are wrong by demanding for secession, is there no way for the federal government to negotiate? Can't the Igbo leaders initiate that negotiation? Why are they allowing Igbo youths to be buyed from the coup that they thought was an Igbo coup? They started buying the Igbos. Now they still said it's not an Igbo coup. Still, Igbos are going down. Millions of Igbos have lost their lives because of all this hatred, and still our leaders are silent. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. It's really so pathetic seeing what is happening in this country. We cannot but start sitting down to think of the kind of leaders we want to vote for in Igbo land. Igbo, sit up. Know the kind of people. We need people who are as bold as lion, people who will say the truth. People like Soludo, they want to one day become president of Nigeria, so they don't want to talk. People like Hope Uzodinma, they cannot talk. Even Mba of Enugu, no matter all that he's doing, they say he's working well, but he cannot talk. We need people who can represent us like the Northerners will represent their people. Even if their people are the worst, they will still want to defend them. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.